Hello and welcome to another 31 Days of Horror 2018 video. You may be wondering why I am outside. Well, it's because I just got back from the theater and I don't want to wake people up. Yes, you heard that. A second film at a theater. Wow, this 31 Days of Horror is extra special. Don't get often that, well, blah, blah, blah. You don't often get us seeing multiple films in theaters. It just doesn't often happen. Often due to time constraints. And I'm not talking about the festivals, because I hit up the Toronto After Dark Film Festival, so not including that. But, yes, another movie in theaters. What? And what are we talking about? Well, clearly, if you know what's in theaters, you know what's good for you. You know that I just came back from, well, you could have read the title to this video, The Predator. Yeah. Yeah, okay. Arnold ain't in this one. Let's just put it that way. So, essentially, the predators come back to Earth. Or a predator comes back to Earth, and essentially a bunch of soldiers have to try and fight and capture him, and well, I guess they're not soldiers, they're ex-soldiers. These are like criminals, criminal soldiers, you know, some of the best, but they're kind of not, you know, some of them are a little mentally unstable. The film is directed by Shane Black, who also has a writing credit on this one. Shane Black has done mostly writing, believe it or not. And before this, in terms of directing, he's got credits on Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Iron Man 3, Edge, and The Nice Guys, which honestly it puts him in good hands. I guess you could say the movie should be in good hands, because a lot of those films are really good. And as a writer, he's also involved in this, you know, similar films, but he started off with The Monster Squad and Lethal Weapon and Lethal Weapon 2 and Last Boy Scout and Last Action Hero. So both writing and directing wise, he's got some chops, right? And he does have a writing credit on this film as well, along with a Fred Decker. Now Fred Decker, mostly a writer, and he was involved with several genre films, like right early in his career, including House and Night of the Creeps, and again The Monster Squad. So they worked together. He also did House 2. Well, no, he didn't do House 2. His story was what was used for House, which means he got a credit for House 2. If Looks Could Kill, he did some Tales from the Crypt episodes. I did the screenplay for RoboCop 3. So you would think with these type of credits behind the film that perhaps The Predator might have been better. Yeah, I'm kind of letting it out. I'm going to say right off the bat, this is like a 50% rating out of me. Honestly, it's a 2.5 out of 5 at best. The film, I don't know. I think it's too much of a mishmash. It's more of an action film than it is a scary alien film. I think it does take aspects of the original Predator and some of the other ones and really goes with the action portions of them, and tries to maybe outdo them. It's a little too clean in my books. some of the people involved in the film or acted in the film are Trevante Rhodes, who I don't know that he had been in much before this. I will check. Let's see. If there's a mouse down here beside me. Yeah, not a lot. Honestly, it's not a lot. So, he was a nobody. I'm not even going to look up the kid. Keegan-Michael Key was in this film, and I do know him from a few things. He's been in tons of stuff. I think did he start young or not? I can't remember. But trying to think of where you might have known him from. He's done a lot of television, a lot of like sort of offbeat comedy type stuff, which is maybe that's where I know most of his stuff from. I don't know. He was the voice of Foreman Jim in the Lego Movie. God, oh right, Let's Be Cops. He played Papa. And in Vacation, he played Jack Peterson, and we watch Vacation like 20 times a year, so that's essentially where I know him from, which may be why he seems so familiar. That's interesting. But yeah, he does a lot of comedy, voice acting, that sort of thing. So I knew the name from somewhere. I just didn't really, and I knew the face. I just couldn't remember where. So I'm trying to think. There's another. Yes, Thomas Jane. I guess he's the main character in this film, and he's one of those people you may not recognize the name, but you should recognize the face from all sorts of different things that are genre related. He was in Nemesis. He was in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie, The Crow, City of Angels, Face Off, Boogie Nights, The Thin Red Line, Magnolia, Deep Blue Sea. He's been in a ton of stuff. But most of you will probably know him as the Punisher. Not the new Punisher, but the old Punisher. I'm trying to think, has he been... Oh, yes, if you saw The Mist, the movie, David Drayton in that. Mutant Chronicles, film from that played Toronto After Dark a few years ago. He has been in tons of stuff, and he's one of those guys who I think genre fans, especially action genre fans, have really come to know and love. But I'm trying to think who else is... Oh yeah, Jake Busey has a role in this film. I'm not even going to tell you what he's been in. You should know who Jake Busey is. And there's a few other kind of here's and there's that you may or may not know. But I mean, because this was a lot of secondary characters and a lot of soldiers and such, and what would you call them? Not really bit parts, but what's the word I'm looking for? I can't even think about it. But somebody who helps the story but doesn't have a huge part in it. You know what I'm talking about. They got an Oscar for it. Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of those in this film, and to go over them it would take too long. The film itself does play up, or tried to play up, big on comedy. And I think this is part of the problem with it, is because the comedy is so forced. It's so out there. It's so obvious. It doesn't play as well as, say, the comedy that happened in the original Predator, which was there, but it was more subtle. It was more, it was just sort of off the cuff remarks that ended up, people love. They're one-liners. They're funny. This does a lot of that, and it just, it is what it is. I'm not really, I think there was a couple of jokes that I kind of liked, but most of them I just was like, oh, really? I felt they were out of place, I guess, maybe. Not really out of place, but I just didn't, that's not what I wanted in this movie. I finally wanted, I wanted, with all the AVP movies that came out, they were all action-based and a lot of fighting. I kind of just wanted a back to hunting the Predator type movies, like Predator and Predator 2. And this kind of took that and then ramped it up. And I think they ramped it up too much. And I'm not even sure that they really had the budget that I would have liked to have seen for something that was ramped up so much. I don't know. I don't know what was missing from the film. That's all I can say. I know there was something missing from it, but maybe in a rewatch I will be able to nail things down. But just seeing it in the theater and coming home, I kind of dwelled upon it and thought about it, and I couldn't really put my finger on it outside of the fact that I think there were too many characters. I think there was too much of the dumb comedy going on, and again, because it was so ramped up, that it was so supposed to be over the top and such, that it just felt too clean. I think the first two Predator movies worked because they felt gritty. Does that make sense? They had this grittiness to them. I don't know. Maybe it's because they were shot on film. I don't know if this film was shot, probably 2018. Probably was shot digital. So maybe that's it. Maybe the look, maybe that whole feel of that film grain that was missing from it is one of the reasons why it just didn't work. I don't know. But yeah. Would I recommend it? Sure. You know what? It's worth a watch if you're a fan of the Predator series. I would say it's one of my least favorite. I don't know where I'd put it in relation to the AVP films, but it's definitely under the first and second film. But yeah, I don't know. Oh, and Predators? It's under Predators. It is under Predators. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I'd still recommend it, but like I said, 2.5 out of 5. It's a rewatchable, but it is not a go-to. If that makes sense. I don't know if that makes sense. Does that make sense? Anyways, if you've seen the film, comment down below. Love to hear from you. Yeah, if you manage to get out and check it out this season. Again, obviously it'll come to video sooner or not later. I don't know when you're going to see this video. It may be out. It can't. It just came out. It's not going to be out before the end of October, so you're probably going to see this video before then. So if you did manage to catch it while it was in theaters, let me know what you thought of it. Love to hear from you. Comment down below. But outside of that, there's more 31 Days of Horror to come. So thanks for watching. Till next video, take care. Have a good one.